It is the story of exit scams and Ponzi schemes and lessons we can learn from the Gerald Cotten mystery and the Quadriga Cx mystery.
Quadriga Cx actually was Canada's largest cryptocurrency. In 2019, the exchange ceased operations. The company filed for bankruptcy, except they had $215 million in liabilities and about $28 million in assets.
That's insane, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so that investor money that was like single moms, families, retirees, all wanting to ride the wave of the cryptocurrency boom, right? Back then, especially coin, which had soared to like really large numbers, right?
It was our largest exchange in all of Canada.
There's a whole theory behind this kind of collapse that is that this really was an exit scam from the very beginning, right? And the way they were doing it is they had created this currency exchange, this cryptocurrency exchange, meaning you wanted to buy Bitcoin and you lived in Canada, where would you do it? Well, you would get online, and Quadriga Cx was the biggest one. Can you tell us about that?
High strangeness of everything. So Quadriga used really unusual, teller window for customers to withdraw their money. And then rather than pay the customers like via bank wires, told to come to some nondescript building in Laval, Quebec, pick up the cash.
What?
First, once they were alive, there was nobody in the office, or that there was no cash to be dispersed. Yeah, that was their disbursement mechanism. So what they quickly defigured was that the funds probably actually were never invested in. What did they do with the money? Right? What happened to the money after it went in?
That's just crazy. It's logical to believe this was an exit scam from the beginning. An exit scam means we are going to create an entity, take in a bunch of money, and walk away, right? We're going to say that we died and get a new identity and walk away with all the money that we took. It's an exit scam. It happens all the time. As outrageous as it sounds, it happens all the time. And here's why. When you do a scam like that, if you just delay enough, most people will never tell law enforcement because they're embarrassed. Just like most people, when they invest money and they lose it, they won't report it to people, right? Because they're embarrassed. I reached out to the guy 10, 12 times. He never responded back. So I walked away, right? That's what the lesson is that founded Shadow Crew on, is that the human behavior of giving up, of I don't want people to know how stupid I feel I was, right? Keeps them from doing it. This is a lesson that Jerry Cotten learned when he was doing the same thing as a child. And that's what happened here. Like what Mark just explained, when Bitcoin crashed, they did a run on the bank. They did a run on the exchange. They wanted their money back. He didn't have it, right? And not only didn't he have it, but he had to find a way out because he knew he was going to go down and go to prison because he had taken millions of dollars from people. They had met, they went to this place. That's where they planned their honeymoon in India, in a little town. Okay.
All that money, you can go anywhere you want. And that's where they went.
And they had, right? In the year or two before, they had traveled all over the world. We'll hear from Brett Jarrelson about how that town is notorious for being able to be a haven for identity theft, meaning you want a new identity, you go to that town in India. You want a death certificate, you want medical records that can show something so that you can have a fake Social Security claim and collect money, or you need the medical records for it, they'll get them for you. It's called the Optery Risk in Jaipur, India. And Jaipur is the town that is notorious for identity theft, being able to buy fake medical records, things like that. It's a really odd place to go take your honeymoon when you can travel and have been traveling together, Jerry and Jennifer, all over the world. It makes no sense, but it's not an odd place if you want to disappear. If you want the exit scam to happen, it's the perfect place. So they go, and he allegedly dies at this time. So what we know is that this place, like I mentioned, is notorious for it. So at some point, right, Jerry Cotten allegedly dies. And on the 9th, he allegedly dies of Crohn's disease. Okay. He was 30 years old. So everything I say sounds more and more ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
He's 30. He dies of a disease that only in extremely rare cases does anybody die of Crohn's disease, right? He also had never been hospitalized for it or had any weird, no, all of a sudden on the day they're in this weird town, right? Like on their honeymoon and it's only them together does this allegedly happen. It makes no sense at all. It defies logic. It gets better though. So check this out. What happens 2 weeks before that? 2 weeks before that, 2 weeks before, guess what else he did? He created his will, leaving millions of dollars to her, to Jennifer. Right. So, and then on the day of this alleged death, right, here's what happened. Someone on behalf of Jerry Cotten, nobody knows who, they contacted a doctor that was later interviewed. He had been contacted by someone and they had wanted him to do a death certificate, right, of Jerry Cotten. But the body was at a hotel, not at a mortuary, a morgue, or a hospital. And so he refused. He's like, I'm not going to do that. It's over at a hotel. Bring it over to the actual morgue, and then I can go and see the body and do that. They wanted it done remotely, which is weird because I thought he died at the hospital. Why is he at the hotel? Like some of the stuff just makes no sense whatsoever. His body was, according to the death certificate, his body was embalmed at a medical school, unsupervised and not at a mortuary or at a funeral, okay, where it's regulated. And then it was all closed casket. No human being has seen his body since it's died, other than allegedly Jennifer. And it was transported back to Canada in a closed casket where they had a funeral, a closed casket funeral, right? And there's never been an autopsy. There are attorneys for the victims who lost millions of dollars who have filed suit asking for the courts to do an autopsy. Because if you do an autopsy, at least then you know. Yeah. Is the body even in the casket? Is there a body? Is there anything in that casket other than a big smiley face? Right. And plane tickets to Thailand. Like what's in there? That's never been approved. Like it still has never been done. So literally no single human being has done. But on December 10th, there was a death certificate issued by Jaipur, India. Okay. The local municipality, right? Which is known for having created fake ones. And it's just shocking. The will had been signed on November 27th, 2018, 12 days before he allegedly died. And in that will, it left Jennifer Robertson the entire $9.6 million estate, named her as the trustee. Then it gets weirder too. They don't tell anybody that he's dead. So they wait more than 30 days after he formally dies, right? But they don't tell anybody. And Quadriga Cx continues to take in new investor money.
Wait a minute. After he's dead, they don't tell anybody. They continue to take more money.
Exactly.
Day
after day. That later was found when Ernst & Young did the audit and when other investigators found out that he had been he'd been using it as his own slush fund the entire time. Michael Patrin, Omar Dinar.
Michael Patrin.
What was his role in Shadow?
His role in Shadow Crew was a money launderer. Michael Patrin, or back then Omar Dinani, he was a money launderer. So that was his start. You had to know what identity was, how to do fake driver's licenses, how to do drop addresses. You knew the dead baby method. You knew how to launder money. You knew everything. Michael Patrin gets arrested. He serves 4 years in prison. Omar Dinani gets arrested. He serves 4 years in prison, gets released, changes his name to Michael Patrin.
Now, what did he get? What did he go to prison for? Those 4 years?
For money laundering, access device fraud, a few other charges like that. But because of Shadow Crew, those financial cybercrimes.
Yes. So he was he one of the guys that went down in that sting of Shadow Crew?
Yes.
Okay.
He was one of the associates of that. There was another Shadow Crew operative back then his name was Gerald Cotten.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute.
Shadow Crew.
Oh, Jerry.
This is a rabbit hole, man.
Jerry Cotten was a Shadow Crew operative?
Yes, he was.
Wow.
Yes, he was.
Wow, I did. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. So he was also on Shadow Crew. Both these guys spent a lot of time on Talk Gold, things like that, dealing with E-Gold, Liberty Reserve, things like that. So he partners with Gerald Cotten. Okay.
Wow.
So Michael Patron, Omar Donani changes his name to Michael Patron. He partners with Gerald Cotten. My thought is that Quadriga, the cryptocurrency exchange that they started, my thought is that started as an exit scam. I really think that
would
both
make
of these
sense.
people, right?
Knowing that story, that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just about to get into that.
So my thought is that.
So Omar Donani, he would have knowledge of how to create a new identity.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. So what we see happen is we see that Gerald Cotten, and again, I think that Quadriga starts as an exit scam. I think that both Omar Donani and Gerald Cotten, they wanted to come up with a currency exchange or a crypto exchange and steal everyone's money. So what happens is Gerald Cotten travels to India, where he mysteriously dies. Now, something that's not been reported in the Netflix documentaries or anything else is that when Gerald Cotten went to India, before he gets there, he registers a couple of domains. And they're like domains to a mortuary in India and to the police station in that province in India as well. Why did he do that?
So why would he do that?
I don't know. But it might be, I mean, the thought that I've got is that, well, you could potentially use that to send back information to stateside saying, hey, this guy actually died, because evidently he died of pneumonia or some such while over in India. Crohn's disease.
Oh, yeah.
And what happens when he dies? They notice that $236 million worth of crypto disappears at the same time. Now, we already know that, looking back now, we know that some of those funds had already been stolen.
Right.
Private keys.
Right.
Cold wallet that only one person had the password to. And that person mysteriously dies, although it was a closed casket and nobody killed the dead person.
And has a deep understanding of identity theft.
A deep understanding of
he has already served prison time for identity theft. And they're in a town in India, as I understand it,
that's known for that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's known for that. And here's the thing. We knew at Shadow Crew that there were areas that were known for that. For example, back when Shadow Crew was operational, you could head your ass down and buy identities all day long from people down there who were about to die. It was a market down there that you could do this kind of stuff with. So we knew these areas at the time.
Wow.
But and still not indicted. Why? Because there's no damn regulation yet.
Right. There's nothing to indict them on. There's nothing on the books.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I mean, it is. It's absolutely insane when you think that you can steal that kind of money. You can ruin lives. People commit suicide, everything else, and you walk away unscathed. Something's wrong with that.
So if you bump into Jerry Cotten, tell him his investors will find him and that Brett Johnson says hello. Hi, Cybercrime Junkies. Thanks for listening and watching. Got a question you want us to address on an episode? Reach out to us at cybercrimejunkies.com.
If you enjoy our content,
then please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel at Cybercrime Junkies.
Connect with us on all social media like LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, and check out our website at cybercrimejunkies.com. That's cybercrimejunkies.com.
And thanks for being a Cybercrime Junkie.